On the agenda tonight, we're going back to 2017, and this video follows on from the one I did last week on Ed Sheeran, because we're going to be taking a look at the way that he navigates his way through his live performances of Castle on the Hill. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So we'll get the footage up on screen, and this doesn't come from YouTube, so I'm going to leave a link to it in the description below in case you guys want to watch this video in isolation at another time. But we're going to be working through it. I'll show you guys the chords as well. I'll get the acoustic guitar out. There is a really interesting part in this as well where Ed does make a mistake, but he covers it up so well you will never notice, and I might bring it up at the end of the video so that if you do watch the whole video you can maybe try and spot where it is. I've got rid of the split screen just to show you guys the chords in case you want to play along. We've got a D, a G, a B over a D sus2 and an A7 sus4, which sounds like that. The chords sound a lot more complicated than they actually are, but going through this as well, the rhythm that Ed applies to it, there's a lot of double time in there. For example, all of that kind of stuff going on. So he does chop and change the rhythm as well. I will play it along while the video plays, but I'm not going to be matching exactly what Ed's doing because it'll take a lot of study in order to find exactly which times he goes straight and then he jumps and plays the offbeat and the accents that he gives, because he is very much just playing this with the groove and the feel that he is experiencing at the time. So let's jump into this video, and the first thing to note really, as soon as we start off, generally Ed is going to be already recording the first loop as the audience is applauding. So that's exactly what he's doing here. And what he's getting down is this double time rhythm, and it is an octave of D. I didn't show you this at the beginning, but maybe if I move a little bit in front of the camera, you can see here. You'll get that kind of sound, and I'm fretting the 5th fret on the high E string with my second finger, using my little finger to get the D on the G string, which will be on the 7th fret here, and then your first finger plays the D on the A string, and you get that octave sound together, but then also that A up at the top. So that's what Ed's doing straight off the bat, and if you're looking at the looper pedal and you see a red light, that means that he's recording on that particular channel, and if you see a green light, that means that the loop is being played back. And you will see Ed set up the green lights and then press on play for all of those channels to play back for the chorus, and he's obviously got his live guitar sound in there as well. The second thing that he does is get down what he puts in his boom channel, which is just striking the guitar in order to get that percussive element to drive it all forward and take the place of the drummer. Another thing to mention is that we have a 4-bar loop here. That has got to be the case for the song, because in the chorus we have 4 chords and we've got a bar on each chord. So the loop has got to last 4 bars and then it will repeat itself after that. So we're going to jump into the video, and bear in mind that when we join it, Ed is recording the first loop. You can see the red light there, and he's going to stack them up. He starts off with those octaves with that A on the high E string, 5th fret that I showed you earlier, but let's jump into it. And as you can see, he's now changing recording from one channel to the next channel, because now he's going to get down the percussive element. And now the rhythm comes in. And these are the octaves, that bass line that I mentioned. And he wants all of those playing, so the green lights are on. And now he's just playing his live guitar sound over the top of what he's just recorded, keeping it really open dynamically. So it's more dramatic when he gets into the verse. And you see how he's now turned off the rhythm that he had in that intro to bring it down for the verse. So he's just got the percussive element going on the whole time and his live guitar and his voice, of course. And before we get to the chorus, he's going to want to turn all of these lights on and then press the play button on the far left to get all of it to come in. And this is all going while he's singing with a great vocal. There it is. And now it's playing back everything that he got down in the intro. If you look at the bottom of the screen as well, you can see the footage from the TV station, so you can see that the way that he delivers it is so natural that you're not really taking in, it's impossible to, what he's doing with his feet. Back into the verse, he's got rid of the percussive element accidentally, he's made a mistake, and he had to put in another bar. So that was a really interesting bit of footage, and something that I say all the time in videos when people say in the comments section, oh, whenever I'm playing live, I mess up and I don't know what to do. The top players make mistakes. And Ed, in that case, what he should have done is get the lights to where they are now. So get rid of the octave that he had, the bass line running through that intro, and also the rhythm guitar as well, because he just wants his guitar to be playing with the percussive element. But he didn't. He pressed on the wrong button, and that's why he had to insert an extra bar of music strumming the D chord so that he could actually work out and get the right elements he wanted for the verse. Otherwise, it would have been a disaster. But that was the mistake. I know that I said I'd mention it at the end to see if you guys could spot it, but it's good to bring it up so you guys can see how he deals with it in real time, then getting back into the verse. But it is so swiftly dealt with. The important thing is, when you make a mistake live, is not to panic. And that's exactly the way that Ed deals with it. Just stay calm. If need be, he could have just kept that D going for another bar, but he managed to rectify it really quickly. Let's get back into it.
Running from the law through the backfields and getting drunk with my friends. But my first kiss on a Friday night, I don't reckon that I did it right, but I was younger then. Ooh, take me back to when we found candy jobs, got paid.
And we know already that he's going to have to start to set up the chorus before he gets there. So wait for him to turn on those extra 2 lights. And there it was, another mistake. So Ed had forgotten to turn on the other channels, and he was just about to press play with his foot. And let me just rewind it so you guys can see that. So at the moment, we've only got 2 lights. We've got his percussive element and just his live guitar going in. And here, if he was to press on play, it wouldn't start the whole chorus because he hasn't selected the tracks yet. He realizes, and he races over, gets the other channels going and live, ready for the chorus. And that was all an adjustment within a bar of playing. He just had 4 beats to realize his mistake, set everything up for the chorus, get back into it, and he's still singing and playing at the same time while having all of these thoughts going through his head. So it is such a great insight to have this kind of footage to see that even Ed is making these little mistakes, but the way that he's dealing with them is just so professional. He's obviously made so many mistakes in the past that when he starts to make them, he doesn't get flustered and he just keeps his head cool and manages to deal with it and get back into the chorus. Now he's just pressed on stop. So that means that all of the loops that are selected that he's got in the chorus will stop so that he can continue just with his voice and his guitar. And then he's decided that he wants a little bit of percussion coming in with this section of the song, so you can see how he deselected the other two channels.
Left so close. One was down by the coast. One that 2 days lives alone. One's brother overdosed.
And I'm just going to pause it here. I was going to say that you're probably already ahead of me because now you know how it works. Getting into the final chorus, you'll know that Ed has to turn on the green lights again before then pressing the record/play button. The interesting thing about this angle is you can see that visual representation of the audio on the screen at the top. And it's something that is a great guide to have, knowing exactly when the loop is stopping and starting, and you can see that on a screen. So that is the audio representation or a visual representation of the audio. But let's get back into it.
One's already on a second wife. One's just barely getting by. These people race me and I can't wait to go home and I'm on my way.
And there we go. So he's pressed stop again, and we didn't see him turn on the other channels because he's going to need those for that last chorus, but he's got there early. And it might have been something that has now come about because of his mistake earlier. He just wants to make sure he gets it all set up for that last chorus. And of course, by pressing on that stop button, it means that everything's going to stop and you can just hear his vocal and his live guitar sound. Let's get back into it.
I still remember these old country lanes when we did not know the answers, and I miss the way you left. It's real. Watch the sunset over the castle on the hill. Watch the sunset over the castle on the hill.
And he just hit the clear button, which is going to clear, it's exactly what it sounds like, all of the loops that he's recorded. So everything will stop, everything's now deleted, so he just wants to end the song, just him and his guitar. And also, because he's cleared everything, it means that he's then ready to set up the next song. But we can now just finish off the video and the song listening to that decrease dynamically to just him and the guitar.
Watch the sunset over the castle on the hill.
And there we have it. So it is a live run through of what Ed does with his feet throughout a song. And it also gives you a great insight into the way that he deals with making a mistake and rectifying it without anybody noticing. Everybody watching this would not have batted an eyelid looking at the extra bar in the song that isn't there on the original. Nobody would notice that live. Obviously, when you're looking at it in this kind of detail, you're going to notice these things more. And it's also great to analyze things in detail because then you can see how the top artists and performers deal with making mistakes live. It is so coolly dealt with, and that's what comes with experience. And the more mistakes you make, the better you get at dealing with them. And this is something that Ed would have made loads of mistakes throughout his career and all of his years on the road and busking. But because he's so used to that feeling, he doesn't panic and just rectifies it as quickly as he can. But the most important thing is just to accept that you will make mistakes, but the more you make, the better you will be at dealing with them. The other thing to mention is while this is all going on, Ed is still singing in key, he's belting in chest voice, such great control, he's got vibrato in there as well. So there's so much going on vocally. A lot of people will probably struggle just playing this without vocals and getting the loops set up. And this is where the rehearsal really comes in, of making it second nature. But I really hope that this video gets through on the copyright side of things, because it's so important to see what Ed is doing and hear the effect of what he's doing as well. I might leave on the acoustic guitar that I played earlier, because that might help with it. And worst case scenario, if it doesn't get through, then we'll have my acoustic guitar over the top, so at least you guys can hear where he would be in relation to the song and the video that we're looking at. This is one of those videos that, on an artistic level myself, it's really interesting to see somebody else and how they approach their live performances, especially with Ed and his setup on the floor, being able to see exactly what he's doing and when and how he's achieving what he does on a night in, night out basis when he's gigging, but also when he's playing in arenas. He's just got this set up and he's just got it mastered, but it's great to see it in action. But thank you guys for requesting this second video of Ed Sheeran and looking at his setup. Keep those suggestions coming in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!